Good morning, everyone. Excuse me. I'm Harriet Bogret, and I'm president of Kulanu. And I'm so very happy to see all of you today and to be welcoming Yaakov Baruch. First, we like to, this is the 20th online speaker event that we've had since the pandemic began in since April 2020, soon after the pandemic began. And we like to start with a short video just giving you the scope of the communities we work with around the world. Because one of the things that's exciting about Kulanu is there are many communities who know that they're feeling isolated, that they're returning to Judaism, or they're an emerging community, but nobody knows about them. But they also don't know about all the other communities like them around the world. And it's exciting for us to, for communities as well as those of us in the US and Israel to see how many communities there are. So let's look at the video.
Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu.
So I'd now like to, well, first of all, let me start by saying that Kulanu supports isolated, emerging, and returning Jewish communities around the globe. And we do it by a community of volunteers, including many of the people in the room and many others. I'd like to thank the sponsors now. Molly, do you have a list of sponsors? Blessing Ziwa, Richard Frankoff, Gary Katz, Lily Kaufman, Alfred Munzer, Karen Primack, Rita Rubin, Ruth Rooks, Rabbi Gerald and Bonnie Sussman, and Shep Huanon. Thank you for your support. And now I'd like to introduce Bonnie Sussman. Bonita Nathan Sussman will serve as the moderator and will continue with the question and answer after the speaker. Bonnie is a volunteer with Kulanu and serves as the first vice president. She's a graduate of Yeshiva University Stern College, has a master's degree from Columbia University and the Jewish Theological Seminary. She's on the editorial staff of the Kulanu magazine and Kulanu's board liaison for the Kulanu academic cohort and coordinator of our work with new communities. The photographs of her travels have been published and exhibited. She's also our expert on conversion. Bonnie, why don't you go ahead and introduce Sjimon den Hollander.
Thank you so much, Harriet. And thank you everyone for coming to this, what promises to be a very exciting and interesting event. Rabbi Sjimon den Hollander was born in 1960 in the Netherlands, where he lived until moving to New York City in 2000. He holds an MA in Arabic and Islamology from the State University of Leiden and a BEd from Ichthus College, Rotterdam, and has rabbinic ordination from Yeshiva University. Rabbi Sjimon teaches medieval Jewish literature at Hunter College. Furthermore, he teaches classic Jewish philosophy such as Saadia Gaon, Yehuda Halevi, and Ibn Pakuda at Congregation Sherith Israel, the Spanish-Portuguese Synagogue in Manhattan, where he is an active member. Rabbi Sjimon is also involved in providing information on Judaism to the Arabic world through his website and YouTube videos. Rabbi Shimon's website is SjimonDenHollander.com, and you spell Sjimon SJIMONDENHOLLANDER.com. And with that, I want to introduce Rabbi Sjimon.
Thank you so much, Bonita, for introducing me, and thank you so much, Kulanu, for inviting me. It's a very, very special thing. It's funny with these presentations. One person introduces another, and eventually, when you hang in there, you get to the real person. So we're getting closer to the real person, and his name is Yaakov Baruch. I want to start with his bio, and then I'm going to talk a bit more informally. Yaakov Baruch was born and raised in Jakarta, which is, for those who are not aware, the capital of Indonesia. He's married to lovely Leah, and he has two children, Levi Yitzchak and Rachel Chana. He established the Sha'ar HaShamayim Synagogue in Indonesia in 2004. And he's active in the Indonesian Jewish community until now. I've been in touch with Yaakov for a number of years. First, just as a Facebook friend, following what's happening in Indonesia, as also with many other people in Indonesia. And I've seen his work. It's been amazing. And we're going to see, he's going to talk about his activities himself. So why am I so eager to connect to Jews in Indonesia? It's almost like my personal journey. It makes people who have sometimes fragmented identities, right? So as Bonita told you, I was born and raised in the Netherlands. So what's the connection? Indonesia has a Dutch past, and Holland has an Indonesian past. In Holland, there is many people from all over the country, from Indonesian background. And this is also my personal story, because my mother grew up in Indonesia, and her family. Unfortunately, they were like all the Dutch, practically all the Dutch there, put in concentration camps during the Second World War. Japanese concentration camps. My mother survived 3 concentration camps. It's a very tragic thing. And it's interesting, I grew up, and nonetheless, even though her young youth in Indonesia was so traumatic, there's still always been a palpable love for Indonesia. And I grew up in Holland, but still somewhat in Indonesian culture. My mother's home was and is full of Indonesian tchotchkes, so to say, and memorabilia. The Dutch, when I grew up, that she taught me was mixed with Indonesian words. And until I went to school, I didn't know there were Indonesian words sometimes. I just would use a word and nobody would know the word. And turns out that wasn't Dutch, it was Indonesian. So when I went to Indonesia the first time, I felt like coming home. Now, what's interesting with this community, I'm connected to my Indonesian past, somewhat to my Dutch past, because we're talking about a community that started in the colonial times, with many of the people being Dutch Jews who had moved to Indonesia in the Dutch period. It connects me to my, and being a convert, it's interesting that my Dutchness and my Indonesian roots come together in this project. And also, the community started a long time ago with Iraqi Jews who moved all over the East, including Indonesia, which connects me to my Sephardi identity. So there's no fighting it. I had to be involved with Indonesia, and I'm very happy to be a friend of Yaakov. I've seen so many wonderful things he's doing. I'm in awe, and just very happy to be instrumental in his building of the community as much as I can be, from not being at the place most of the time. And I think I've said enough about myself, about Yaakov, as an introduction. And so I would ask Yaakov to jump in and to give his presentation, and we can talk about all the other interesting facts perhaps later.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Okay.
Hello. Yeah, hello, everyone. I will start my presentation. Okay, this is the historical timeline of a Jewish community in Indonesia. So next, yeah. During the 17th century, the existence of the Jewish community in Indonesia has a very long history. Starting in the 17th century, when Indonesia, or Dutch East Indies, was still under the Dutch colonialism, Jews enter Indonesia through the trade routes. The majority of the Jews come from Western Europe, such as the Netherlands, Germany, and surrounding countries. At the same time, from another direction, the Jews came from Iraq, who had transited through the India, began to enter the Dutch East Indies with the aim of trading. Because after all, the Dutch East Indies at the time was one of the center of the world trade. Okay, next, yeah. In Java and Batavia, or now Jakarta, and Surabaya is become the center of the largest Jewish community at the time, because these two cities become a center of the government and the trade. Geographically, in Batavia and Surabaya are the two largest cities in Indonesia today, as we will see in the video next about the Jewish life in the past, in the Jakarta, Surabaya, and in North Sulawesi. As you can see, in the different islands, such as the North Sulawesi, that we saw it in the video, there is a few parts there. It also became the center of Jewish life, because during the colonialism, it was a center of plantation. Okay, next. Jewish life in Indonesia is considered very stable and secure. In the 1930s, a synagogue was established in Surabaya. The synagogue was founded by the Surabaya Jewish community, or better known as Surabaya Israelitische Gemeente. Okay, next. We will see this is the synagogue of Surabaya before it was destroyed. I take personally the pictures. Molly can play. Thank you. So during the 1940s, the situation changed when the Second World War occurred because Indonesia was finally occupied by the Japan. During the Japanese occupation, the Jews experienced pogroms and many were sent to the Japanese concentration camps. This happened at the insistence of the Nazi Germany, which was allied with the Japan to exterminate the Jews in Asia, especially in Indonesia. Okay, next. At 17 August 1945, Indonesia get the independence. 3 years in the shadow of Japan, Indonesia has finally become an independent nation. Next. Okay, it also affected the life of the Jews in Indonesia, especially with the high spirit of nationalism at that time among the indigenous Indonesians, with hostility and expulsion of foreigners such as the Dutch, including the Dutch Jews, resulting in many Jews in Indonesia have decided to move to Israel, Australia, and California in Los Angeles. The Iraqi Jews who moved to Los Angeles built the Kahal Joseph Synagogue together with the Iraqi Jews immigrant from Singapore. Next. At around 2000, in the early 2000s, I, a descendant of Dutch Jewry, took the initiative to build and reunite the remaining Jews in Indonesia together with the elderly. The remaining elders of the SURABAYA Israelitische Gemeente are Mr. David Masri, David Abraham, and Maureen Elias. So these people that you saw in the screen, you can see the Jewish life. When we saw it, the presentation during the past life, they were kids and they do the bar mitzvah during the time. Okay, you can play, Molly. This is the initiative to build the community. Okay, next. Since then, they have been active in making Jewish celebrations, such as a Pesach, like we see in the pictures, a Sukkot, Hanukkah, etc. And with the Jews in Jakarta and Surabaya and Bali also, we celebrate together with the remaining Indonesian Jews, also with the expatriate Jews. In 2003, the Sha'ara Shamayim Synagogue was established in Tondano, Indonesia, under the leadership of myself. So apart from being active in Jakarta, I also began to serve the descendant of the Dutch and Iraqi Jews who were in North Sulawesi, or in my hometown. In 2010, there was a new phenomenon, namely the Israeli euphoria. There were people who claimed they were of Jewish descent and practiced Judaism, because the community built by me and the Jewish elder is basically a community of Jewish descent. not a really like a religious community. So many people cannot be part of the community due to the lack of the evidence that they are of the Jewish descent. So basically on the time when people, the local Indonesian came to us and said that they're Jews, we asking some paper or some the proof like ketubah, so we can accept them in the community. But most of them on the time cannot show, so they cannot be part of us. And some people already start to build their own community. However, the Shara Shamayim Synagogue, we continue to facilitate those who want to learn Judaism and supervise those who are serious until finally they are ready to carry out conversion according to halakha. So we don't really reject the local who want to practice Judaism. We accept them, we teach them, we guiding them, but basically we want them to be honest about their backgrounds. If they make a fake story about their backgrounds, we will not accept them. Okay, thank you. Next. On the other hand, because doing Orthodox conversion was very difficult at that time, they had to go to Australia. So many people end up with taking other paths, such as contacting like a Jewish rabbi who had legal problems because very easy on that time. And just because they wanted to convert, so neither the Shara Shamayim Synagogue with adherence to Orthodox standards or on the non-Orthodox denomination accept them on the time. But lately, finally, after we have a mikvah, we do it everything according to the Sephardic way that we make very easy to people that we not reject like before. Next. After struggling for approximately 16 years in 2019, our synagogue, the Shara Shamayim Synagogue, was finally inaugurated by the local government, by the Indonesian government. So during the Hanukkah, we invite the mayor to come and to signing our synagogue. It makes the Shara Shamayim, or our synagogue, is the only official synagogue in Indonesia after the synagogue Surabaya was destroyed. In 2021, the Shara Shamayim synagogue has the support of the BETH. Next. I want to introduce, this is our BETH, Rabbi Sjimon and Hollander, Rabbi Michael Habib from Torah Alpha, and Rabbi Moshe Otero from Darkei Israel. These three of very kindly rabbi, they're very helpful, help our community with the halakhic issue, such about giur, like conversion, for wedding, and for anything, for Jewish status. So from that time, we have a really legal, fully halakhic conversion after we have the kosher mikvah. And the mikvah was built by our community under the help from the Rabbi Sjimon, the Hollander. Next. This is the video of the local Jewish life or the local Indonesian who are doing the conversion and practice the Judaism in our synagogue. Okay, can play one. Thank you. Next one. Yeah. So the synagogue still operate until today. Honestly, it's because the spirit of the Jews of Indonesia, and also because of the enthusiasm of the local people who are moved to learn and embrace Judaism. So our synagogue is open to the all Indonesian with the Jewish ancestry, and also for the Indonesian without Jewish ancestry who want to do the Giyur and practice Judaism. And now we is on the process to do it everything legal in the Ministry of the Religious Affairs, and also we're working together with the Minister of Interior, because our target is to be recognized as a fully religion in Indonesia, and then we can change it our religion in our ID card. Thank you for watching. Okay, back to Mrs. Moni.
Thank you so much.
Oh yeah, Moni. Welcome.
Are you finished with your presentation now? We can begin some of the questions and answers.
Yes, I'm available for question and answer.
Okay, so here's a question. Why was SURABAYA destroyed, and what happened to the Judaica items in SURABAYA?
Okay, thank you. There is a special case about what happened in Surabaya. Is nothing to do with anti-Semitism. Actually, it's about the, you can say, the issue about the money, because they who take care of the place, they sell it the place, and then all Jews suddenly sue the family who take care of the place, and that's become a big case in the front of the law, actually, in the front of the court. And on the time, the Jew from Surabaya, from Jakarta, tried to sue the one who sell it the building, and to change it now as a hotel. Yeah, it's already changed it as a hotel. And since the lawyer on the time, Mr. David Abraham, was passed away, so the case is not really finished, and all Jews already give up and try to move on. And we are, the community try to focus in the synagogue in my hometown now. And all the Judaica, we didn't really know what happened there, where they put the, like the teba, you know, or the hekal, or even the books. But some books already given to me by the former president, Mr. David Masri, a few years before the synagogue was destroyed. So I keep it, some books and the sidurs from many years ago in our synagogue now, and it's safe in our cupboard.
So someone asked about the feathers. Tell us about the photos with the feathers.
Oh, the feathers, yes. Well, as we know that when I start to initiative the community, on the time we have help from the Chabad, our rabbis, some from New York and sometimes from Israel. They come also to Bali as well to make seder with the expatriate. So for many years, I involved with the Chabad and also with the expatriate Jews. And like you say, like you see in the video. But later on, when the local Jews want to start to practice Judaism and to make Yur and anything, as you know that we have a good contact with our Sephardic rabbi and also with the Kulanu, that we should praise that Kulanu have a good heart to help the Jewish community, especially the local Jewish community, who don't have a link or have in touch with the other community. So what happened with the fedora is like when I was working with the Chabad at the time. Yeah. There's a story behind the black fedoras.
Can I pike in a bit?
Sure.
Hi. What wasn't made it be clear that these feathers, that is the outfit of the indigenous people of Sulawesi, and this was, the occasion was Purim, so it's not that this is worn all year long. It's a Purim outfit basically, but very nice and beautiful one.
Okay, I have.
Is the feathers or is what the The question.
The outfit on Purim, when you're reading the Megillah, then people have these warrior outfits. That was the question, what it was about, the feathers.
I'm sorry, I get wrong. I thought it's a fedoras.
I have two personal questions to ask.
Sure.
One, well, actually, someone asked how many Jews are there? And my two questions are, tell us about your interfaith work and about the building of the synagogue.
About the Jews in my hometown now, it's about 20 people. And if you combine with the Jews in Jakarta and Surabaya, you can say it now we have about 40 or 50 people over Indonesia. Yeah, I can tell you the halakhic Jews. And also about the
What
interfaith.
about the ones that are practicing but have not yet converted in the count?
We consider them they are candidate, and they will do the mikvah and to finish all the conversion, and perhaps we will have about 100 after that. B'ezrat Hashem.
Okay.
Yeah.
And tell us about the interfaith work.
About the interfaith, I'm very active working with the interfaith group. I even was once went to America to represent Indonesian. On the time, Indonesian Jews, and I was staying in New Jersey for 2 months, and I went to New York as well. And we start to build how to fight the anti-Semitism in this country, same like with the Islamophobia as well and anti-Christian. That's what we fight it. And now I'm glad that people have a good heart to see the Jews that can do the more active in this country by the interfaith. Because we want to be fully recognized. So we're very active to doing the interfaith things. And also about the renovation or the construction, it's funny, we did the construction for almost 2 years already from 2019, before the COVID, and now COVID almost finished and we still do some construction. First, we do the renovated in the synagogue building. We changed the model from the house in Holland before to be a like place in Israel, like with the Jerusalem vibes that we want to bring it. Also, we start to build the mikvah last year until under the Rabbi Sjimon supervision through video. And also now we have a planning to make a Holocaust museum. Why we want to build a Holocaust museum? Because we want to educate Indonesian, especially the locals, about the Jewish history. We hope if they know the history of the Jews, they will start to understand why we need a state like Israel and why we should make the normalization or open diplomatic relation in the future. So everything must be done step by step. And the story about the Holocaust Museum also that we want to do it now, not only the message is that we want to keep the human right and fight all the genocide or the hatred toward all ethnic, all religion. That's the message that we want to do it here. And yeah, that's what we're doing now. So we still do the construction more than 2 years here now. Already, and we hope to finish in this the end of the December. So we will have this museum on the January. Yeah.
Okay, so someone asked about kosher food.
But kosher food, yeah. We live in the you say like an island, as you see in the maps. That there's plenty fresh fish, kosher fish that we can get. But I do myself, I practice shechita when I was studying with Chabad friends. So if I want to eat chicken or the community want to eat chicken, we do the shechita by myself and we can share the chicken with the community. But we're still using a Indonesian knife and we're still waiting our kosher knife that we order from internet. It's not yet arrived until now. It's we ordered to Mr. Levi Sussman. Do you know?
No, but we can help. Talk to me after. We can help you get those the chalaf, those knives, if you're interested.
It will be very helpful. So people will not really dub it anymore, because sometimes people still dub it if we're not really using the halef.
Okay, so we have some person here that mentioned that he was saved by people in the Holocaust during the war by an Indonesian family. Someone is questioning him, what happened during the war. Someone else asked, how many Jews were there before 1940 and how many Jews were there after 1940?
According to the history, there is a 5,000 Jews around 1930s. Yeah, it's before 40s. But after the Indonesia independence, is become like 400, and around 60s it's become only about 50s. And because many Jews they go out from the Indonesian after the independence. So now we start with the local who make giur. We hope that we can have more than 100, so we can get fully recognized by the government, because the number is very important for the Ministry of the Religious Affairs. Otherwise, if you less than 100, it will get difficult to be recognized, fully recognized, I mean.
Yes, Yaakov, maybe you can understand. There was a question also about Pancasila. Pancasila is an ideology, state ideology of tolerance. Can you explain? There are, if I'm correct, 5 recognized religions, and you said you're trying to become a recognized religion. So what do Jews now? Do you have to? I understand you have to have in your ID a recognized religion, and Judaism is not on there. Are most people registered Christians, or what's the deal?
Most Jews in Jakarta and like in Manado, we put Christian in our ID card, and the Iraqi Jews in Surabaya, they put Islam because they're very closer with the heritage. So that's the funny thing to live as a Jews in this country, but actually there is a new regulation from the government that we can put a blank in the religion section in the ID card. But what I'm gonna to do it with Rabbi Habib. Rabbi Habib asked me that if we can put it Judaism in the ID card, because blank is mean you don't have any kind of religion, and it's can against Pancasila, because in Pancasila the first is we need to believe in the one God, right? So if your ID card doesn't have religion, it can put you in the danger in the future. So, but they said it's not only 5 or 6 religion. The country, the Indonesian government recognize all religion, but they not give us the holiday, like for holiday for Pesach or holiday for Hanukkah something. So
someone asked, what are the recognized religions?
Pardon?
Someone asked, what are the recognized religions?
It's first is Islam and the Christian. The funny thing is second is Christian, 3 is Catholic. They separate the Christian and Catholic, and then they have a Buddhist and Hindu. Buddha and
okay,
Hindu.
and there were questions, and you briefly mentioned it, about anti-Semitism.
Yes.
So
far, we don't really have something like against us, like real attacks and anti-Semitism, except for me, myself, in 2012 or no, 2011, I was walking with my pregnant wife in the mall, and there is a 5 Indonesian come to me and try to attack me and my wife because I wearing kippah. It's in the Jakarta, in the Samol. But when I put it out my kippah, they said, you're not allowed to put that hat. If you wearing again, we will attack you, we will kill you here. So that's the only anti-Semitism that I really face it based on my experience. But the synagogue is very safe because the synagogue located in the Christian majority area. So all the people, the Christian, they very support Israel in my area. So they even raise Israel flag, you know, in their houses, in their house. So they said we will protect your synagogue from the radical if they try to do something bad.
Okay, I have two more questions. Can you chant? I know you do the Spanish Portuguese tradition. Can you chant something in a Spanish Portuguese tradition so people here who aren't familiar can hear something? Can you sing Shema or whatever?
When we do the song of Moses, we do like Shasir Moshe Uvene Israel Sirasot. Yeah, something like that. And also before we come to the synagogue, we have like do it 3 times. We open, like we respect the Shekinah, you know. We have like something from iron in the front of our gate. Like we knock, it's not a bell, it's something like that, but we do it 3 times in the synagogue. And also, why is called it Spanish and Portuguese? Because we do the mincha from the Amsterdam. We have a Siddur from the Portuguese synagogue in Amsterdam. And I recite the blessing for the government, 3 government. For the Israel, I do it in Hebrew. For the Dutch government, still in Portuguese. And also for Indonesian government in Hebrew. I don't do it in Indonesia because the prayer is Hanoten. And then also during the chanting, we using the ngayin, not the ayin. So it's like Adon Ngolam, you know, also from the tradition in the Amsterdam, we singing the Adon Olam Asher Malach B'Terem Kol Yisir Nivra, or sometimes we did the Solar version. We try to reconnect with our roots because Indonesia also was a colonial of the Spanish and Portuguese before the Dutch came. So we still have probably the Spanish and Portuguese Jewish descendant who still spread in the island that we didn't know, right? So our mission to come, and we also have using some Portuguese word in our local language. Like for the head, we call it chapéu, or for the chair, we said cadeira. So it's still, and some Dutch word as well. That's a unique thing of the locals in my place.
Okay, so I have a few more questions popping up. I'm trying to get them all. I know you're doing work to get your community, actually Indonesia and Israel, to develop some kind of relationships. I think you posted something on your Facebook page about this. Can you speak to that?
About the event last time?
About what?
About the event of the...
What you're doing with the Indonesian government around Israel. Are you doing something?
Yeah, I was invited by the Muslim student about the prospect, the diplomatic relation between Israel and Indonesia. They made this webinar just a few days ago. And I was surprised that the other speakers is from the Muslim university and also all the Muslim students. Suddenly they agree that finally they said, we need to change our mind toward Israel. So I think we should open our diplomatic relation with Israel because this is not the time anymore to fight each other. Perhaps we need to live in peace. So I can explain to them that this Abraham Accord bring a really real spirit to Indonesian as well, Indonesian Muslim as well. Now they start to see Jews and Israel is different from the old time, and this is a good chance, and there is a hope in the future. But I don't want to talking more about politics because I don't know what can happen with Indonesian politics after this. But I can guarantee that it's not really like same like before. The Indonesian, they really have become more moderate, tolerance. Now in every interfaith, they start to invite a Jew as a representative of the all religion in Indonesia, and it's a good start. And during my meeting with the Minister of the Religious Affairs, he also support us, and he invite us to come to his office, and I invite him to come to the synagogue. let's see if we can catch him in the inauguration of the Holocaust Museum. That we hope we can catch the people from the ministry or from the other group or from the other diplomatic group or something, and we're gonna see what will happen. But I believe the world is changing also in Indonesia, and it will very. We need to still have keep our hope about this. I believe later our government will change the policy. They will recognize Israel soon, I hope.
There's something thrilling about listening to your presentation. I mean, it's really so important and so wonderful that the tears are coming to my eyes just listening to how you've advanced your community and how it represents Judaism in Indonesia and how the government is beginning to notice you. And this is such a wow experience, I think, for everyone who's listening. Someone keeps asking the question about the origin of the name of your community. Is it Swahili or Arabic? Is that the question? Am I hearing that? Am I reading it correctly? And lastly, people want to hear from, I think his name is Munson, who Munson, who was saved by an Indonesian family.
Yeah, the question about the name is not about Sha'ar HaShamayim, but about the town Surabaya.
Oh, SURABAYA, sorry.
So what's the origin of the name Surabaya? It's probably a Javanese word, right?
No, it's in the Dutch, Rabbi. It's an Israeli teacher, painter, Surabaya.
Yeah, but what is Surabaya? It's not a Dutch word.
What do you mean?
The name Surabaya, what the origin is of the name. The name Surabaya.
The meaning, the Surabaya. It's a Surah and Baya is shark.
Crocodile. What is it? Crocodile and shark.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shark fighting with the crocodile, and it's your hometown also, Rabbi. So.
Yeah, I know. My mother's from Surabaya, of course.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay, can we
Okay,
hear
Al,
from?
it was Al Munzer who spoke. Al Munzer, people are asking to hear your story. You need to
Unmute,
unmute
Al.
yourself. You need to unmute yourself. Do you know how?
Okay. Yeah, I was born okay. Yeah, I was born in the Netherlands, in The Hague. And when I was about 9 months old, my family went into hiding, and I ended up being placed with a Dutch Indonesian family and their Indonesian nanny, Babu. And so it's that family that saved my life. And the story of that Babu is now in the current exhibition, actually, at the Historical Museum of the City of The Hague. It's an example of a person, ordinary person, having the power to stand up to evil. So it's really just came back from the Netherlands and had a very moving reunion with members of the Madna family. Unfortunately, my two sisters were hidden with a different family, and they were betrayed and killed in Auschwitz. So my mother and I were the only members of our family to survive. So that, in a nutshell, is really the story of my survival, thanks to an Indonesian family and growing up speaking the Indonesian language.
Wow, what a story. Is that a Tole, the one who rescued you? Tole, I forgot the name. Someone with name Tole or?
Yeah, this was the family name is Madna, M-A-D-N-A. Tole Madna came to the Netherlands in 1916. And he's the head of that family, the family that saved me. They are inscribed as coming from Indonesia. They're inscribed Hashem.
So this happened not in Indonesia, this happened in the Netherlands, right?
That's correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Mijn
But
oma
I've also
family,
spoken to groups in Indonesia,
Yeah.
part of a Holocaust educational program. So which is continuing.
I've seen your book in English, and yeah, through your publisher. Yes, he sent it to me.
mijn oma family kwam uit Schavenhagen ook.
Uit waar?
Mijn oma family van Wilgen kwam uit Schavenhagen.
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 Yeah.
Ja, vergeet. Maar
Hey, I think we're near 12 o'clock, at least New York time. So I think we need to turn it over to Harriet. And then we can break up into some groups and get to know each other a little better. And then, and anybody who wants to leave now can, or we can ask more questions, and we'll see what that holds in the next few minutes.
So for those of you who came after the very beginning, welcome. I know there are many people who are new to Kulanu with us today, and I'm very excited about that. So just to repeat, Kulanu supports isolated, emerging, and returning Jewish communities around the globe. And we're constantly getting to know new communities that we didn't know before. And this is an example of a relatively new relationship with Kulanu and what wonderful riches it brings. Before we say goodbye, I want to take the time to personally thank those of you who are here who have supported Kulanu over the years. We started in 1994, and some of you have been with us ever since then, and some are newer. Your donations and volunteer help have meant so much to all of our Kulanu communities. Of course, you know, these are particularly challenging times, especially for communities overseas who are in lockdown and schools aren't open. There are all kinds of challenges. People don't have jobs. Many of the communities we work with have immediate needs, and some of these are emergency in nature. But also a lot of what Kulanu does is simply bring light to communities around the world that haven't been known. And once we shine our light on these communities, you know, other resources also come to help. And there are many ways that once a community is known, that they can connect with both the Jewish world and the wider world better than before. But to do that, we need our wonderful staff and our money to fund programs. And so we need the help of each of you to support our work. And we appreciate donors, whether you give us 10,000 or 50,000, or whether you give us $10 or $10 a month, whatever you can do. Your support is really important to us, and we thank you for it. You can go to kulanu.org/donate and either donate online or get instructions on how to donate by mail. And I'm sure Molly is putting that link in the chat. If you need to leave now, thank you for joining us. But if you can stay, part of what we love about Kulanu is the sense that we're a worldwide community, and we invite you to stay in one of the breakout rooms and just continue our conversation and get to know each other. And after 15 minutes of the breakout room, we'll have a sort of after party where those who want to stay can continue to ask questions with Yaakov Baruch and Sjimon and Hollander. So now Molly will assign us to breakout rooms. If there's a Kulanu leader in the room, they'll help lead the discussion. And if not, please just pick a leader from among yourselves.
So if you haven't been invited to a breakout room or you can't make it, I'll stay here and we can talk and have our own breakout session if you'd like, or we can just take a few minutes to have a break. Great, if anyone wants to share what they've learned about the Indonesian Jewish community, that'd be great, or we can wait for the main group to come back together in about 10 minutes.